Welcome back to another episode of the High Performing Student Podcast. This is your host, Sam Demma, and today we have a very special guest, LaRussell. Instead of introducing him myself, I'm going to turn the mic over to him. LaRussell, feel free to introduce yourself to everybody listening.
Beautiful. Can I curse? What age is these students?
Yeah, some of these kids are in high school. You be your authentic self, whatever that means to you.
Okay, beautiful, man. I'm your friendly neighborhood real nigga. I'm just here to give a lot of love and some good energy. And man, I don't know. I think it's better if you introduce me. You from what you believe I am.
Yeah, I think you're a source of hope, a source of inspiration, a message of independence, and a messenger for other people to chase their dreams and be their authentic self. You inspire me to stay consistent, and you do all of this through the art form of music, but also in every little decision you make. And I'm curious to know what got you into using music as your way to spread your message of positivity, kindness, and everything that you're doing.
Man, the universe did that one. I don't have any like specific moment or story that really got me into music where I was like, man, I'm going to do music. It's kind of just always been embedded in me. I think I was kind of just made for this exact purpose.
When did you start making music?
I start writing very early, like 6 or 7, like writing not even in song form, but just like writing everything, poems and notes and letters and shit like that. And then I start kind of rapping over instrumentals as I got closer to middle school. In elementary, we used to bang on tables and rap and shit. So I got into it really early, but not seriously until like high school. And even after that, more so after getting out of school and kind of getting into the world and working and just seeing that this is what I actually love.
Would you tell people growing up, I want to make my entire life based around music? I want to be a rapper. I want to tour. I want to do stadiums. Did you ever tell people that? Or what was when someone asked you, what do you want to do when you grow up? What would you tell them?
I probably made up some shit back then. I didn't really know what to do. I have no clue. I have no idea. But no, I never wanted to be a rapper. I guess I've always wanted to, but I never wanted to outwardly. Like I was never like, hey, no, I'm gonna be the next best rapper or this. I was just rapping, the whole time. But I don't know, I wasn't chasing it tangibly back then. I just loved to make music. It was just fun.
At what point did you realize this could actually be something? Meaning you would have probably...
Yeah, in 2018, I dropped my first album, my first real debut solo album. And the reaction from it and from the community and from my peers and my parents, that was the first time my parents heard me rapping seriously, and they took to it like, wow, this is incredible. So it's like after you kind of see your peers and people react and respond like that, it gives you a boost. And I remember one day I was at the park and I was just kind of enjoying the day, and a truck rolled by, the craziest shit, some movie shit. A truck lights pass, and it's playing my song, the beginning of my album. I heard the part, and I start jumping. I'm like, oh shit, that's my album. I start running towards the truck and shit, and he drove off. He didn't even know it was me. That was a big defining moment of man, we're on the right path. You feel me? People that we don't even know are listening to what we're creating and they're enjoying it. So that was a big staple.
Take me back to that moment in the park for a second, because I'm sure that wasn't the moment you started making music. And I think sometimes people believe that you start doing something and desire it today and somehow you're going to achieve it tomorrow. How many years had you been writing and making music until you were in that moment on the bench?
Man, for decades, I've been rapping for 2 decades and I'm 27, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been writing raps for 20 years. And it's funny because that moment in the park was a big moment of, oh man, this is real, but I didn't make it and blow up to where I am today. This is fucking 4 years later. Yep. That was 4 years ago. Yep. So that moment then, and it didn't happen until 4 years later. So it really takes a lot of time and a lot of work and consistency. You really just gotta love it. You know, as long as you love it, you could do it as many times as possible.
And you gotta love it so much that you're willing to turn down people that don't align with the way that you envision yourself doing it. On one of your, I think it was a recent post you put out, you were quoted saying, basically, if I can't do it the way I want to do it, respectfully, I'm gonna not do it at all. Can you give me some examples where you've stuck to your guns and turned down opportunities or situations that didn't align with your gut or your own vision or intuition?
Man, that it's really been happening a lot lately. You know, early on as I was breaking, I was very desperate. So it was none of that, you know, I'm
Yeah.
taking whatever. But yeah, as you kind of grow and progress and you start to see your own worth and value and just valuing your own time, you start to like, now we've got offers to do tours and to do certain shows, and I'm turning down a lot more than I'm accepting because you know, I have a vision of what I want my career to be and how I want it to go. And you really have to sometimes it hurts because there's a lot of money on the table in these occurrences, but you have to really understand what are you trying to accomplish in the long run, and does
Mm.
this get you closer to that?
Where does that mentality come from? Because I feel like we live in a world where if you wanted to, you could live your entire life in your house. You could have your toilet paper delivered tomorrow morning if you order it today on Amazon, and basically everything you want physically can be delivered to you tomorrow morning. But no one's gonna deliver you greatness tomorrow morning.
No.
It's a long-term play. So where did that mentality of postponing the instant gratification and making all of your decisions based on your 10-year plan come from?
Um, Man, I don't it's not even with me, it's not me like postponing the instant gratification when it comes to that. It's just like my soul doesn't feel good about it. You know,
Mm,
it's not me thinking like, well, this doesn't align with the 10-year plan. It's just some shit doesn't feel good, you know,
mm,
when in your body. Like you could feel when something is off and everything. And I'm just big on like, man, when I go into agreements with people or meetings and shit, I have to feel very good about you. You know,
mm,
like I shouldn't have this piece of me that feels hesitant or feels like, nah, I might not want to do this with you. Cause you know that's my body communicating with me and telling me, nah, this ain't it. Are you
hmm.
out? I love you. You're the greatest.
Hey, just want to say hello. It's awesome. I love that. You sound like you're very aware and in touch with your intuition, how you feel. Did you always trust those feelings?
Man, damn near, kinda. You know, I remember getting into just like you know, bullshit incidents as a youngin. Like I was always able to rationalize
Mm,
and be like, nah, we're not gonna go do that. You feel me? Like that
yeah.
doesn't align with what I'm trying to do. We're not gonna go do that. And I think it's something that you definitely grow over time. The more you make those decisions where it's like, nah, we're not on that, you know, you start to kind of flip your cycle and it just becomes your habit, your norm.
Mm, got you. There is a lot of young people who, when I ask them, "What are you passionate about?" They tell me rapping, making music, filming YouTube videos, doing all this creative stuff. You strike me as somebody who is very creative with the way you unroll your projects, with the artist membership cards and all these different ideas that I've never seen anybody else do. Where do you generate your creative ideas, and how do they come to you? Like where like how do you generate all these awesome creative ideas?
Man, they come to me through life. You know, life always teaches me all the craziest lessons, and I'm always reading and learning. And I have incredible people around me. You know, LaRussell is a product. I'm like an iPhone. I'm Steve Jobs, and my team is Apple.
Yep.
And LaRussell is the iPhone that comes from that. So I mean, I'm able to pull from so many different sources, and we throw one idea out and that one idea becomes 20 because we have so many creative people around us with input, you know. But really life, you know, I'm always thinking how to be of service. How
Mm,
can I make this a duly beneficial relationship with the people that's supporting me?
hmm.
And just beyond that, what do I want? You know, like when I go to a show or when I support an art, when I love an artist, what is the shit that I want? You know, like there's this quote that says, give your best. You know, if it's not good enough for you, it's not good enough for anyone else. So make sure you're giving things that you will want. When I was young and I wanted to go to a show, I didn't have fucking $40, $30, $50. So I made my shows priceless. So we don't never, so no one else ever has to feel what I felt, you know, like you really have to. I just think of the things that I feel like needs an area of improvement, and we just kind of act on that.
That's amazing. And tell me where Good Company, the name, the concept, where did that come from?
Well, I was thinking of the saying, your mama says you judge by the company you keep, which I thought was a really great saying. And then we use penny because, of course, company is a standard word. There's probably plenty of good companies, but with the penny, it's like pennies are very undervalued. You know, like if you're walking on the street, you'll walk past every penny you see your entire life. But imagine if you collected every penny you walk past throughout your lifetime for the next 20 years, you feel me? You'd have a nice chunk of change, but you look past it. It wasn't worth anything to you. So now it's like we bring in that, the penny is worth something now. You know, people are stopping and looking at it like, hey, let me put this in my pocket just in case, you know?
Yeah. I love that you are also enabling people to pitch their pennies, not only pennies, but probably thousands of dollars to actually purchase a percentage of your masters or your songs. How is that going, and what inspired you to do that as well?
Man, it's going absolutely incredible. Beyond words could even explain. You know, it was something new that we really jumped and took a risk on. Like it was a 1 day thought. You know, we thought of it the night before, and the next
Crazy.
day launched it, and it was out of here. And yeah, man, it was a culmination of things. We start doing like the priceless shows and allowing people to pay what they want, and then we gave away some stock in an album, and then once that was received well, we chose to do this to let people buy in, because it's like, I don't know what a song means to you. You know, your favorite song may be different from mine and mean something completely differently. So
Yeah.
man, we allow people the option to choose and get behind the things they love. You should be able to back you things you love. You know, we could buy stock in Nike and Disney and Amazon. So why not? You should be able to buy stock in your favorite artist.
Yeah, I love it. I love the concept. I love the idea. I also love that it's not just you. You mentioned that you have the entire team. LaRussell's the product, and you guys work at Apple, and you have a lot of inputs. Not only do you have an extended team, but it seems like your entire immediate family and local community is like
Right.
assembling behind you like the Avengers, And tell me a little bit more about the balance between family and business. I know that sometimes that's kind of weird, but at the same time, it could be so harmonious and beautiful.
Man, it's extremely beautiful when extremely beautiful when there's beautiful people involved. You know,
Yeah.
like we have a very ego-free area. Like everybody on my team has been here from the jump with me for the most part, and we've been very, very broke together. So there's nothing from that point up. Everything is a plus. You know, like we're not running a business over here. We're just having fun. We doing shit we love with our homies. Like as simple as that. We don't have to do business unless we go outside of our circle, and we never really have to go outside of our circle because we're self-sufficient. So we just have fun with it. You know, the pie comes in and we split it and we all eat and get bites out of it, and
Yeah.
we make more pie when we need more pie. You know, it's that simple.
And you give me 5, but you got pie on you.
Come on.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. When you were growing up making music, did anyone around you ever tell you, "Yo, this is stupid. This is dumb. Why are you wasting your time? Your raps ain't gonna work." Like, did you get any of that from the people around you?
I never really got negative feedback, but I had those moments of like, damn, you know, I remember one time I was in high school and I made like a mixtape and I gave it to one of like the neighbors, right? And one day I was at his house and I forgot what he was showing me, but he opened his trunk and I seen my shit in his trunk and I was like, damn, he ain't listening to my shit if it's in the trunk. There's no way you can listen to it from in there, you know, it was just thrown in his trunk.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments I was like, damn, my shit ain't it, you know, but it's
Mm.
like, also, like, my mom has always played my shit like it was the greatest song in the world, you know, even in the early shit I was making when it was not great, you know, she was playing that shit like it was great. I had some cousins who was playing it like it was great. So, man, I always had more positive feedback, you know, than negative, but I also wasn't like really outwardly with my talent yet. Probably now is the most negative I'll get off some shit, but that's because it's up for public opinion, you know?
Yeah. And I think what's really cool is that those types of situations where you start to get the negative comments, it's actually just an indication of success. And if people are willing to listen to your stuff and then comment, you're already winning. It's like, you know.
Man, that's all it's about. Like, we really you just want to be able to move someone. And if someone decides to say something about what you did, you moved them. And I think that's a job well done.
I love that. When it comes to art, it's also very subjective. Some people like certain musics, other people like other genres. How do you think you've been able to find your audience who really fit with your type of vibe and artwork?
I didn't find an audience at all. I just did what I love to do, and they found me. I didn't go looking. You can't find an audience. You know, that's like, if someone is on the corner and they're selling fucking apples, the people who love apples are going to go buy apples. It's
Yeah.
just simple as that. You don't have to go find the apple lovers. They're going to come to you. When you have that product, they're coming. If I want weed, I'm going to go find the weed man. You know, like, it's just, that's how that shit works. You really just have to do you, be you as best as possible, create great product, and people are going to come for it. Like, people love good stuff. If you have the best ice cream in town, they're coming to you.
In one of your other videos, you mentioned that, you know, you have no problem splitting percentages of your songs with everyone around you, parents, sisters, brothers, friends, because you have thousands of them.
Come on.
Do you know how many songs you actually have, like, to the number?
No, I don't.
If you had to estimate, how many do you think how many would it be?
Sheesh. Several hundred. So
Several hundred.
it's very hard to pin, and several hundred. And I've probably written thousands and thrown away, you know, several hundreds, man. I've been writing forever.
Yeah. I love it. I just asked because I'm trying to paint the picture that this isn't just, you didn't just show up and something happened, you know, and,
No, and other shots. Like, I've been in this room writing and crafting and working on my art for years. It's taken me years. You know, it was funny, the other day I read a comment online and the guy was like, "Man, you've been rapping like this forever. They just now hearing it." And, you know, like, the people who know, I've been doing this. I've been rapping at this caliber for a long time, and that's because I've been playing a long time. It really takes years. You have to really find something that you love with a passion, because then you lose count. Like, when you love to play basketball, you don't even know how many shots you shot that day. You lose count.
I love that. Yeah, you're not tracking the points because the points don't really matter no more.
The score keeps itself.
I
The
love it.
score keeps itself. You ain't even got to count them. Just look up at the end. You know, the score is going to keep itself. But you just have to find something that you really love, and at that point, you get lost in it. Like, we're not even keeping track.
So what does your day-to-day life look like? Not now. What does your day-to-day life look like throughout the entire come up? And I would argue you're still blowing up now, and there's still ways that you definitely want to go. But what did your day-to-day life look like, and what does it look like today?
Man, I used to wake up, go to work, come home, you know, write music when I can. Really, you know, before 2018, music wasn't even my focal. You know, I had a child early, so I went straight into working and was just kind of, I was always doing music in the background, but I wasn't releasing anything and putting it out. I was just working, trying to make money so I could, you know, have enough to live and maintain and do what I needed to do. But yeah, I used to just, you wake up, go to work every day, come home and make a little music when I can, but really just, I did everything. We was chilling and partying and doing all the basic shit. And then when that switch kind of hit in 2018, and it was like, wow, I could really do this and I love it and I want to do this, you know, every day my life has been, every day I do something to get me closer to where I want to be, you know, no matter no matter what it is, whether I'm writing a song or I'm shipping out orders, or I'm writing a book, or I'm processing mail, or I'm editing shit and saying, I'm always doing something to advance myself in this field.
Was that a foreshadow, or are you writing a book?
Man, this is my second book. I
You already
already
have
wrote.
one out. What's
Now
the?
we released, yeah, I released a book about 2 years ago. So now, yeah, I'm on my second book, and it's almost done. You'll probably see it by the end of this month.
Do you have a working title that you can share, or is
Yeah,
it private
it's
info?
limitless.
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 Okay, got it. What's the premise?
The 10,000 shot theory. The premise is just life.
I love it. Cool, man. Very cool. And music. You've been making music for years. It's just starting to catch. I wouldn't say it's just starting to catch now, but it's just starting to really catch right now. Where do you see yourself in a couple years from today? Like, I envision years ago, you probably said, "I want to start selling merch one day, and I'm gonna write a book, and I'm gonna be on big talk shows and owning the streams of the talk shows." And what do you
Never did.
no? So it was all um it was all just love for the music, and everything was like basically
It,
just secondary.
it was all a product of the work.
Yeah.
Um, it was all a product of the work. I was just putting in that work every day. I'm gonna put out 100 sessions. I'm gonna make 100 songs. I'm gonna put out, and as I grow, that shit just kind of keeps growing. And sometimes we set like small, tangible goals, but for the most part, I don't have any goals. I'm just doing the work. What
Yeah.
we gonna do the most shit, and whatever comes from us doing 100 songs and 10 albums in a year and doing great video, whatever comes from that is what we're gonna get. None of this has been projected or planned really.
I think that's the most beautiful part about it. Oh. A lot of people will preach the opposite, and they'll be like, "You got to be very strategic. You got to write down your goals, and your goals have to have deadlines and all this stuff." And your life is a manifestation of the opposite of that, which I think is really cool.
Man, I think those are tools and they help. I write down a lot of goals and things subconsciously, but I never stick to them.
Mm,
I'm very malleable. You have to be like water. If the river needs to run this way today, we need to be able to flow and run that way. So, it's great to have goals and things you want to obtain and accomplish, but you have to be really malleable, be adjustable. And because some days you may wake up and it's like, we change your plans. Let's do this because this feels good, and you got to be able to maneuver on that. And I just think when you go goalless, you can't fail. There's no expectation. There's no way to fail. Whatever we get from doing this great work, we won.
Did you ever have a moment throughout your entire journey where you felt beat down, or that it may never happen, or that uh, the time you were spending may be all in vain?
Man, of course, I have those moments probably once a month, till this day. Till this day, I just had a big realization the other day that really woke me up out of a slumber. But, up until this day, I always have those moments of, man, this shit isn't happening the way I want, especially when you're doing it independently,
Yeah.
because there's you either lack capital or you lack knowledge, and sometimes you lack both. And then sometimes you only have one and not the other. And when you're in that space, it just sometimes it just feels like you can't score. It's like you're playing against the greatest defense ever, and you just can't score. But you really have to you really just have to do the work and not care about nothing else. I'm going to make an episode every day and release it, and I don't give a fuck what happens. This is what I'm going to do.
I love that. You mentioned coming out of a slumber recently. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what your realization was, or what the epiphany was?
Man, the realization was I'd rather be here than back where I was. Like we often complain like, well, I want more, I want this, I want that, and it's like, well, you want to go back? You feel me? Like, I'd much rather be here than back in 2019 at a job working for somebody else trying to make this happen. Like, you feel me? We lose that gratitude and that presence of what we've created and what exists now. So it was just a realization of like, man, be grateful for where you at right now because you don't want to go back. You feel me? And if you sad because you not somewhere that you don't even know about, that doesn't even exist, like that's just unreal. So it's just, man, the realization was to really be present and appreciate where we are, because you could easily be back and have nothing.
I love that, man. I think it's sometimes really difficult to stop ourselves from thinking in the future all the time, and instead reflect on how far we've come. What reminds you of that? Is it just you like consciously deciding to sit down and think about how far you've come, or do you do things that keep you present and centered?
Man, it's a combination of things. Sometimes I go outside and I lay in grass. Sometimes I go walk. And like I said, I have really beautiful homies like Tieta, Tessie, Yaya, Fani, Cujo. Man, they always keep me on tip. Like we're always constantly pouring into one another and making each other also realize, like, hey, bro, you been kind of stupid right now. Look at what you got. What you talking about? You forgot where we came from. You feel me? So just having good people around you, and yeah, taking those moments. I'll go ride my bike. I'll go play basketball and do those things that just really just make me feel good.
Love that. The friends and the team and the family you mentioned. Do you guys all live together in the same quarters, or what does it look like physically? I know I see y'all working in the garages and
Right,
packaging the clothes in. Like, do you guys live really close together, or what's the situation?
right. We all live in Vallejo for the most
Cool.
part, very close. So we're just everyone's always at my house. I can't get rid of them, as you can see. I mean, this has become the hub. You know,
Yeah,
everyone knows you come here, you can get some work done, and you can laugh and chill and eat some food and just hang out. That's what we here for. You feel me? So it's really just become a hub for all of us to create and just, make new shit.
that's amazing. Very cool. You mentioned this a couple of times, but and maybe it's a reiteration of something you've already said. There's another young person pursuing a passion that other people refer to as unrealistic. Bless you. Like I think about when I was growing up, my big dream when I was a kid was to play pro soccer. I ended up having 3 major knee surgeries, losing a full ride scholarship to Memphis, and a bunch of my teammates play in the MLS now and on the Canadian men's national team. And I would always tell people growing up, I'm going to be a professional soccer player. And it wasn't because I wanted money or fame. I just loved kicking a soccer ball the same way you love making music. And
Beautiful.
my teachers would always look at me and say, but you know, Sam, 0.005% of athletes who play college level ever actually make it pro. And my guidance counselor would say, you need to have a backup plan to go into a specific subject in school. And my coaches would also remind us, soccer isn't the end all be all. And even if you do make it, you got to be really good to actually make a living doing it. And everyone always told me the limitations. And I think when it comes to artistic pursuits, entrepreneurial pursuits, or athletic pursuits that a lot of kids might have, they get the similar responses from other people. What would be your a couple pieces of advice for somebody who's pursuing a dream in athletics, entrepreneurship, or in an artistic field, that when they tell it to other people, they always get these same limiting belief responses?
Impossible is the opinion of the incapable.
Hmm.
We don't need to listen to people who can't do what we want to do or haven't done what we done. Why would I listen to someone who's not in the soccer league about soccer? You don't know
Hmm.
what you're talking about. You're not an
Yeah.
expert in that category. You feel me? Like, impossible is the opinion of the incapable, and it's just not to be regarded. People are projecting. They're talking to you from their experience. They don't know anyone who made it in soccer. When people tell you that 0.5%, that's when you step up and say, well, I guess I'm 99.5. Like,
Yep.
I guess, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
that's just how it's gonna be. You have to be relentless in that. Like, no one can tell you that. You feel me? Like, man, so people told Elon Musk he couldn't make a rocket and go to space.
Yep.
These were all people who didn't make a rocket and go to space. You feel me? Like, this man thought of a Tesla in his car and now we drive them. There is no impossible. They sending people to Mars. What are we talking about? You could do anything on this earth. It's not to be regarded. As long as you're willing to do it 10,000 times, anything is for grabs. If you're willing to kick the ball 10,000 times, anything is for grabs. You out of here? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. That sucks. For sure. Yeah.
Cool, man. I love it. I love it. LaRussell, man, thank you so much for taking some time to share some of your good energy. Do you have a quick little set of bars or anything on your mind you want to share? Maybe something you've been writing recently or a song? Just give us a couple of bars that explain how you're feeling right now in this moment.
I don't feel like dancing right now. I'm just a human right now.
Cool.
It's talking not enough.
Talking is more than enough, man. I appreciate you.
Next time I'll dance when I feel like it. My feet hurt right now.
Oh, you're good, man. Thank you again. I really appreciate you doing this. If someone wants to check out your music, follow you, like how can they find your stuff and listen to it?
Man, you can find me at LaRussell on everything, LaRussell. You can type it into any platform, anywhere, and find me, man. And I hope you guys love what you hear. And if you don't, I'll be making more stuff. One day you will. Simple as that, you know. Yeah, that's it. You can find me everywhere under LaRussell. I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate you, Sam. Thank you for reaching out. What an honor. You're all the way in Ontario. That's crazy.